him with a move that'll stun him. Hit him with a move that'll stun him. Hit him with a move that'll stun him. Hit him with a move that'll stun him.
Open Gangnam Style!
Hit him with a move that'll stun him.
Back when I was with my wife, I could special summon.
Good afternoon, jank enthusiasts! I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. This has been the busiest week of my year. I had a Trust in the States final yesterday. Get your wills done, folks. I have to fly across the country next week to film, and I'm currently at the NAWCQ. So I figured, if my week was this hard, well, then this video might as well be hard to watch as well. It's stun time, folks.
Is it legal to have stun gun in Canada?
So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is a one-stop shop for all things Yu-Gi-Oh! They're responsible for the pack opener that makes series like Progression possible. They've got strategy articles for those looking to flesh out their fundamentals. They're the most complete repository of deck lists and results from regionals and YCSs online. And they've also got cube and draft infrastructure that's finally seeing use now that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have come to the light of Limited. There's a good chance that any Yu-Gi-Oh! Content you see on YouTube has Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck's many tendrils somewhere within its DNA. So why not go to the source and improve your game, draft with friends, or just see what 11-year-olds are playing in their Blue Eyes decks this month? Head on over to YGOPRODECK.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's mess with Morganite Stun. The Morganite cards, first debuting in Cyberstorm Access, are spell cards that all have a similar effect. Each one, after resolution, prevents you from activating monster effects in the hand, bestows an incredible lingering effect upon the user for the rest of the duel, and can be banished from the graveyard to get a little benefit. We've gotten one every couple of sets since release, but in Duelist Advance, we finally got the capstone, Guilt Gripping Morganite, and its searcher, Morgana the Witch of Eyes. These two cards really changed the math on a deck that's been skirting around the edges of playability for the last few years. Stun. And, to borrow a phrase from Jaxel, radically transform it from a deck that aims to normal summon Pachycephalo and flip a floodgate to a strategy that aims to almost actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now that's helped by the fact that this deck is the perfect home for another group of extremely powerful, extremely underplayed cards, the Dominus Traps. Purge and Impulse are good in decks that can support them, but when you don't actually ever need to activate a monster effect, they get a lot better. Playing both means we get to add Songs of the Dominators into the list, and Guilt Gripping's effect means the remainder of the list can be filled with Solemn Traps. Tossed in some draw spells, and we've got a stew going. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, Morgana the Witch of Eyes. This is a Morganite card, which is important for reasons you'll see momentarily. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish a Morganite spell from your graveyard to negate it, and if it's normally special summoned, you can add a Morganite from your deck to your hand. If you have 3 or more Morganite spells with different names in your graveyard of banishment, you can change the attack of all face-up monsters your opponent controls to 0. That is going to proc pretty frequently, but usually exactly once. After that, we've got 3 copies of Vanity's Fiend, 2 copies of Majesty's Fiend, and 1 copy of Arc Lord Christia. For our spells, we're on 3 copies of Guilt Gripping Morganite, which prevents you from activating monster effects in the hand, allows you to normal summon level 5 or higher monsters without tributing, and prevents you from paying life points to activate spell or trap cards. This card can be banished from the graveyard to reveal a Morganite in your hand, put it on the bottom of the deck, and then draw a card. Succumbing Song Morganite is not particularly powerful, but its graveyard effect is unthinkable. It allows monsters you control to make 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, and if your monster battles an opponent's monster, the battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. It can be banished from the graveyard to add a Morganite from your deck to your hand, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Finally, Time-Tearing Morganite allows you to draw 2 cards instead of 1 during your normal draw during your draw phase, and normal summon twice instead of just once. It can be banished to prevent your opponent from activating monster effects when you normal summon this turn. They can't all be winners. After that, we've got our draw spells, 2 copies of Pot of Extravagance, 1 copy of Pot of Prosperity, 1 card of Demise, and triple Pot of Duality. We're on 2 Foolish Burial Goods because binning a Succumbing Song Morganite is full combos, much as a combo exists in this deck. We've got 3 copies of Songs of the Dominators. If you have no monsters in your graveyard, this can be activated from the hand. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, it's negated. Then if you have a trap in your graveyard, you can add a Dominus from your deck to your hand. You are locked from using the effects of monsters in your hand, graveyard, or banishment until the end of the next turn if you activated this from your hand, and of course it's a hard once. We're there by playing 3 copies of Impulse and 2 copies of Purge, followed by a bunch of Solemns. 3 Iron Thunder. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated on the field, pay half, negate the activation, destroy the card, then pop other cards in the same column the destroyed card was in. I'm starting to really like this card, even out of the sideboard. I'm playing Judgment in a lot of boards these days, and this is also sort of Judgment. Speaking of Judgment, there's Judgment. We're playing Solemn Strike as well, and then in the extra we've got an Extravagance board. 3 Chaos Angel. It's not likely, but it is possible. Majesty's Fiend plus Morgana makes it. Zeus, a Typhon, Dark, and SP Little Knight. In the side, we've got Forbidden Droplet, Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm. We really struggle to break boards. Droll and Lockbird, then post-side cards like Spell Canceller and Chaos Hunter can slot in for other monsters. So with that, let's hop into some games. Our first match is up against White Forest, and I swear every time I take a look at this deck, it's playing an additional sub-engine, Millennium and Fiendsmith. Huh. Well, all those cards special summon, so our hand could not be better for going first. We're going to begin with a copy of Morgana, the Witch of Eyes. We do have to draw something that constrains our opponent's movement, but before we do that, we're going to empty our hand with Succumbing Song and Time Tearing. Card of Demise into, a Vanity's Fiend will do it. We'll Guilt Grip, normal summon the Vanity's Fiend to set a card and pass back to our opponent. They'll draw for turn and begin with a copy of Engraver. That's going to grab a Tract from deck to hand. Philia Diabel will get them a Diabel Star Vengeance. Then afterwards, they will fire off the Tract in order to cycle the Vengeance and normal summon a copy of Lacrima. Lacrima is going to be another copy of the Fiendsmith, and they will activate White Forest, grab a card, and pass. I mean, what do you expect? We'll draw 2, one of which is a Vanity's Fiend. We're going to normal summon that, set another Judgment, and then get in for 48. Good luck to our opponent. They have to chew through every counter trap in the universe without special summoning a card. They'll draw for turn. A Wanted is nice, but not sufficient to beat our established board. They're going to set a card and pass back to us. All right, that should be all she wrote. We'll draw 2, and then we'll go to the battle phase, walk over the set card a couple of times, and then get in for 24 and 24. So that's how the deck performs on the play, but what does it do on the draw? Well, for game 2, our opponent's playing Vanquished Soul. Wow, I like this strategy. The Mitsurugi cards, I think it's going to take a lot of people by surprise this weekend. Mad Love here is going to get an unbelievable card, Vanquished Soul Start, which allows them to grab a Holy Sue here. Holy Sue is going to activate as well. They're going to summon it. We will Dominators this, but unfortunately, this is an effect that can be Ash Blossomed. So they will resolve the effect of the Holy Sue. They're going to get themselves a copy of Raisin and trigger the effect of the Raisin in order to grab another copy of Xiaolong, just 2 fires. They'll go Heavy Borgar here in order to summon itself, then the effect of Mitsurugi Prayers in order to grab a copy of Habakiri. That's a dark for Heavy Borgar. They're going to draw a card, and ooh, that simplifies a lot, getting the Snow Devil already. They'll go Xiaolong, reveal 2 here, and they're just going to grab themselves a copy of Caesar Valius into Rock of the Vanquisher in order to grab that Mad Love back before we activate the effect of Ame in order to summon a Saji, send the Saji to the yard, and grab a copy of Prayers. They'll set 2 and pass turn. We will draw for turn, and maybe we can make this work. In standby, our opponent's going to draw a card. Let's fire off the Pot of Extravagance. We have to find something pretty sexy here in order to be in it, and that's not bad. We'll go Duality afterwards. That is a guy to summon. We'll grab Majesty's Fiend that activates Succumbing Song. We'll activate the effect of the Succumbing Song in order to grab a copy of Guilt Gripping. We'll activate Guilt Gripping, and here we just normal summon the Morgana, Witch of Eyes, hoping to prompt out the back row. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to it. We got all 3 effects, but we are going to go Majesty's Fiend. That does lose to exactly the Snow Devil here, so we will lose our entire field. Our opponent won't, and then they'll be able to resolve the effect of Raisin. We have a couple of cards to interrupt our opponent, so I don't feel like we're out of it yet, but it seems pretty unlikely. They're going to go Caesar Valius and just go combat. That does do it. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. And what is our opponent playing but Mitsurugi Raziel? We're going first, which is hilarious. They're going to begin with a copy of Perulia, and I will definitely give you a draw off that. We're going to activate Pot of Duality here and find off the top. Yeah, Succumbing Song is good enough. We'll go Succumbing Song in order to activate its graveyard effect and grab ourselves a copy of Guilt Gripping. We'll activate the Guilt Gripping, then we'll normal summon a Vanity's Fiend. They'll draw a card and we'll set 2. It's not pretty, but it does get the job done, especially against a hand with no non-engine. All right, Sword of Raziel and a pass. See what we can rip off the top here. Ooh, not bad. We'll normal summon the Majesty's Fiend, get over for 1800, and then get direct for 24 before passing back to our opponent. They'll draw for turn. 1 turn to look at me, Hector. Yeah, Droll isn't going to do it. So it's time for game 2, and we're going first. Oh my god, that is an unbelievable level of confidence in the side deck. Okay, well, your funeral. We're going to begin with a copy of Pot of Extravagance, and right, walk face first into a Droll and Lockbird. Okay, I get it. Out of the board, there are a lot of cards. 4 going second that absolutely wall us for a turn, at which point our opponent can walk over the fact that we don't really play non-engine. The Solemn Strike on the Ice Ryziel feels pretty bad, especially when followed up by the Mitsurugi Prayers, but maybe it helps us live a turn. Habakiri here can send the Saji in order to grab a Ritual. Ritual here will send both an Aramasa and a Kusanagi to summon out that Habakiri from hand, and then activate their effects in sequence so that they can add back this Ritual, grab another Habakiri as well. Could you at least pretend that I'm playing Ghost Bell? They're going to send a copy of Habakiri to the yard in order to grab a Murakumo, not even the one from field. Oh, come on. Set the trap card and get in for all but 900. Okay, we live. We could theoretically do it. We will draw a copy of Prosperity. Should have fired the Lancia, dumbass. All right, what are we finding off the top? Okay. Well, Foolish Burial Goods isn't the worst. We'll go for the effect of Foolish Burial Goods. They will Ame here. Of course, we'll discard, and we'll send a copy of Succumbing Song into the Lancia. Okay, Pot of Duality or Bust here, and it looks like we're about to bust. We'll take the Impulse, normal summon the Morgana, walk into the Grave Purification, and go next. So it's time for that all-important Game 3, and I'm not backing down. I'm still going first here. I mean, we can't go second, so we're going to begin with this copy of Foolish Burial Goods. That allows us to send a copy of Succumbing Song to the yard. We'll activate it, and then we will top this Dominus Impulse before we activate both Time Tearing and Guilt Gripping. Normal summon of Vanity's Fiend, set a strike, and pass back to our opponent. Nice deck. They're going to go ahead and set a copy of Solemn Judgment, activate the effect of the Aramasa for a Habakiri, and then set one additional card before we draw 2 for turn. We'll begin with the Guilt Gripping Morganite in Graveyard to draw a card, and then we'll get over this Aramasa before passing back to our opponent. I really have no reason to extend any further. They're going to set a copy of Star. We'll draw 2. Ooh, a Spell Canceller. That ought to seal the deal. We'll go to the battle phase, walk over the Star Ryziel, and get in for another 24. We'll pass back to our opponent, who will draw for turn. Next, they're going to go ahead and set this copy of Droll and Lockbird. Another monster kind of cleans it up, which we are not finding. Let's just go to the battle phase and get in for 24 one final time. We are so close to the end of this game and walking with this best of 3. They're going to set 2 more cards and pass back to us. We'll draw, walk in with the Spell Canceller, and why does X'd Ryziel have 2,000 defense? Are you kidding me? All right, we'll pass back to our opponent. They draw nothing. They'll pass, and we should just be able to go to the battle phase and walk in for lethal. Might as well get the screws on them a little bit first. Iron Thunder, Solemn Judgment. Ah, okay, yeah, you got it. We will just attack and kill you, though. Woo-wee. At least we get to grab the Guilt Gripper. So we're back with the deck, and wow, die rolls, am I right? Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, this is almost coherent. Morgana searches any Morganite. Soul Succumbing searches after activation, so usually you're going to get through 2 Morganites almost every first turn. 2, not a lot beats the setup. The format's premier removal threats all require special summoning. You can't MTP a Christia if you don't ever get to the link. X'd send nothing, idiot. Murakumo me again, Margaret. And 3, the Dominus cards are absolutely busted. I see the appeal of playing an Impulse deck. And the cons. 1, you can't go second very well. Your only hope is that Majesty's Fiend kind of shuts them down while you set up for a turn. 2, you're also sort of a 2-card combo deck. You want to normal summon a monster, so you're going to have to draw one, but you also need the mainline combo of Guilt Gripping to get there, and it's going to cost you your whole hand to do so. And 3, it's stun. It's not very interactive, and a lot of people are just going to scoop and sigh if you set up. Overall, while the archetype is more fleshed out, has fixed some of the issues inherent to stun, the Morganite cards aren't without their own problems. Regardless, expect to lose a Game 1 to a Vanity's Fiend at least once this format. So that's that. Thanks so much for watching. These 10-minute testings are made possible by, and occasionally suggested by, my patrons, some of whom have paid a lot of money to be mentioned at the end of this video. Those people are Elena Tincher, Alex Perea, Allison Elliott, Ally, Anthony S. Sierri, APK Pearly Tier 0, Brett Henry, Cool Guy Bakura, Cool Name, Damon O'Neill, Dark Rebel XYZ, DJ Elefante, Emiliano Deverio, NB Adams, Fabrizio Petroli, Felix, Garrett Ran, Hergalicious, John Paradise, Night Mary, Legal Rights, Lucas Rosas, Luis Hernandez, Matthew M. Derezzo, MBT Play Dolce, Mike Carlotti, N54 Lionheart, Nacho Gonzalez, Pombo, Prez, Project Mercury, Rants Are My Thing, Rohan Doge, Rose Lapine, Serpentax, Shifter.mp8, Sly Ninja 43, Soul CLG, Troy Says By Erasure Is Gay, Vortex, Who's Nick, Wonder Waffle, and Yuki Kazami. I couldn't have done it without you.